Hello there. Welcome to a Verbling class. My name is Hamish. I'm going to be taking you through this job interview preparation class. These first 2 minutes are for Verbling Premium users. If you want to make sure you get a spot at your favorite classes, please consider taking up a Verbling Premium membership. Let me put the link in there in the chat box. Verbling chat. There we go. Let me put some of the links in here while we're here, see what I can find that's helpful. Okay, here's a link for ESL.com's job interview page. This is job interview advice specifically for people who have an interview with an English-speaking company who speak English as a second language. So I hope you find that useful as well. And of course, I hope you find this class helpful as well. Yes, so we're going to be focusing on the questions and answers that we might be asked and that we might use as an answer in job interviews with an English-speaking company, whether we're having that interview on Skype, on the telephone, or in person in the United States or the UK or Australia, or if an English-speaking company is based in your home country and you may still have to have an interview and they may still ask to see evidence of your English skills before hiring you. So we're going to look at those kinds of questions and those kinds of answers. We're also going to focus today pretty much on questions that center around team working and possibly leadership as well, if we have time, because English-speaking companies, they are very much interested in the big question of, will you fit in? Will you fit in with members of their staff? And of course, remember, it's not up to the company to fit in with you. It's up to you to demonstrate that you will fit in terms of your working style and your character, but also your communicative techniques and the way you speak and the way you get results working with other people. It's up to you to demonstrate to them that the way you do those things is similar or is a good fit with that organization as well. So yes, we're going to look at that. Let me just check my list of links. I think I had, oh yes, if you have any problems with, there we go, any problems with the Hangout today, with the video, audio, getting booted out, not being able to get in, any of those things, I don't help at all. But if you look at that Google link I've added to the Verbling chat page, that should, I hope, give you some assistance in making sure you get the most out of the technology here today in the classroom. I see my students are coming in. Let me say hello to them and we can get started. 1 second, please. Let me say hello, first of all, to Asuman. Hello, Asuman.
Hello.
How are you today?
Fine. And you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Asuman, tell me, where are you from?
I'm from Turkey.
Ah, okay. Welcome to Verbling. Welcome to my class. Check any noise there. Asuman, tell me. Sorry, I don't know where that noise is coming from. Are you working at the moment?
Am I what?
Are you working at the moment? Are you working or are you studying? What are you doing these days?
No, I'm studying. I'm a student.
Okay. Okay. What do you study?
English language and literature.
Okay. Right. And do you want to teach when you finish your studies? Okay.
No.
What do you want to do?
I want to be a translator.
I'm sorry. Say it again, please.
I want to be a translator.
Okay, right, very good. Well, welcome to the class, and I look forward to speaking with you in this class. Let me move on and say hello to Anar. Hello, Anar.
Hello.
How are you today?
What?
How are you today? How are you?
Fine. You?
I'm pretty good. And Anar, where are you from?
I want to say hello to my friends.
Hello.
Okay, and where are you from, Anar? Are you from Turkey as well?
I'm from Azerbaijan. Yes.
Azerbaijan.
I'm from
Okay.
Azerbaijan.
Great. And what are you doing at the moment? Are you working or are you studying?
Yes, I'm working as computer engineering.
Okay.
Working as computer engineering.
Mm-hmm. And are you looking for a job right now, or are you happy where you are?
What? Sorry?
This is a job interview class on Verbling. Are you looking for a new job?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Sonar. Thanks for talking with me. I'm going to move on and say hello to Assam. Hello, Assam.
Hello,
Hello, Assam. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Tell me, where are you from?
I'm from Palestine.
Ah, Palestine. Very nice. Okay, welcome to Verbling. Assam, are you studying or are you working right now?
Well, I just have finished my master degree, so now I'm looking for a job.
Okay, and what kind of job are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for something to do with the financial sector or business development,
Mm-hmm.
the business side.
Okay, and are you looking for a job in Palestine, or do you want to work in another country? What do you think?
Well, I would like to have an international experience, so it would be great if I can manage to find something international.
Okay.
Like to work with international companies or with international institution or organization.
Sure thing. And do you have a particular country or a particular area in mind? Are you thinking in North America or Europe or what?
Well, I would like to work for Canada or Australia or New Zealand or British English countries.
All right. Okay. Yes. Of course, all English-speaking companies in the main there. All right, Assam. Thank you. I hope we can help you in this class today.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Let me move on and say hello to. I'm getting some sound from you now. I'm going to mute that microphone of yours. There we go. Let me say hello to Rod. Hello, Rod. Welcome back.
Hello. Thank you.
How are you today?
You have dropped me right now.
I'm sorry? Yeah,
You have dropped me, you.
No, yeah, I just haven't said hello to you, that's all. You're on my list, don't worry, I'll get to you. Rod, tell me, how are things with you?
Everything is okay.
Okay.
I'm studying. I was working 2 months ago. But I want to finish my studies first.
Yeah, no, sure thing. Well, I hope this is a useful class for you today, Rod. Thanks for joining us today on Verbling. Let me say hello also to Sebastian. Hello, Sebastian.
Hello, Hamish. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, yes. How are you today?
I'm fine, I'm fine.
Okay, let me turn that off. Yeah, I don't want to use that camera thing today. Thank you very much. Sebastian, tell me, are you studying or are you working right now?
I'm both of them. I'm working and studying also.
Okay, what kind of work are you doing?
I'm a programmer. I mean, I make programs for SAP technology.
Okay, let me add that to my list, programmer. Okay, welcome to class. Welcome to class, Sebastian. I look forward to speaking with you later on. Yes, let me say hello to Stas. Hello, Stas.
Hello. Oh, sorry.
Are you getting a phone call? Stas, how are you today?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good for a Thursday, right? Tell me, Stas, where are you from?
I'm from Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Welcome to Verbling. Very nice to meet you. And tell me, are you looking for a job at the moment, or do you just want to practice your English with us?
Oh, I'm practice English.
Okay. Okay. Well, we can do that. And welcome to class. Good to meet you. Let me say hello to Yasin. Hello, Yasin.
Hello, teacher Hamish. I'm Yasin from Turkey. This is my first class with you. I'm working now. I'm a lecturer in university, but my English is not perfect. I want to improve my English, and I'm planning to join IELTS exam 2 months later. But I don't join your class because your class time my working sorry, maybe your maybe I will your class in midnight in Turkey.
Oh my
Now,
goodness! Oh, it's
now
that's far
the
too
clock-
late.
Yeah, thank you very much. Teacher Hamish.
I got you. Sorry, assuming there's a lot of noise. I'm muting that for a second. All right, Yasin. Okay, so you're a lecturer at the moment. What's your area? What's your subject?
My department is computer programming teacher.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I think we have a few computer programmers here and engineers today in class. Yes, and great to meet you, and I look forward to practicing some of these questions with you. And of course, if it hopefully I'll have an IELTS class that fits with your schedule, perhaps next week. And if you follow me on let me put my Facebook link up there,
Okay,
because
teacher.
I publish my schedule every weekend or every Sunday, and that gives people an idea of when we're running certain classes. So let me do that.
I will join your class, teacher.
Yeah,
But I must say my English is not perfect. Sorry.
Well, but I don't want you in my class if it's perfect.
Okay, teacher.
That's no fun at all. You're very welcome. You're very welcome in class. Yes, and thank you
Thank you
for
very much.
joining us.
Nice to
Let me
meet you.
say also hello to Yusuf. Hello, Yusuf.
Hello, I'm Yusuf. I'm from Syria. I have no job now. I'm studying economics.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so are you looking for work at the moment?
Yes, I'm looking for, but now, and there is a problem in our country. So
Of course.
I'm continuing my study.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you joining our class today, Yusuf. The sound isn't fantastic, and if I have problems hearing you, I might ask you to turn off your camera, so that might improve your connection with us, because the most important thing for me is to be able to hear you. But welcome to class, Yusuf. I'm really glad you're here. Lastly, let me say hello to Dia. Hello, Dia.
Hello, Hamish.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm pretty good. It's very gray out there today, but that's okay, because sun's always shining here in the classroom, I have to tell you. Thanks for joining us today, Dia. I look forward to practicing with all of you. Oh, I see. I lost my camera. One second. There we go.
Really, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, you're very welcome. All right. So, yes, we're practicing our spoken English today. We're going to focus on questions and answers you may well get, and questions I've certainly asked and answered in job interviews with English-speaking companies and organizations, whether it's the private sector or the public sector. A lot of the time, they want to know the same things. First of all, and this is a question for everybody, what do they want to know? If you get a job interview, I mean, for example, say there's a job you like the look of, and you send in your sorry, if you can mute that microphone if you're not talking to us, that will cut down on the noise there. If there's a job you like the look of, and you send in your application or your resume or your CV, whatever you want to call it, and they like the look of it, they think, oh yeah, we're interested, and they bring you in for an interview. What is the interview for? What did they want to know about you before they can give you the job?
Experience.
Experience. Yeah.
How much do you know about the company?
A good point. Okay, let's put some of these down. So we've got. I want to put skills and experience, and I agree with that.
References.
They may do. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they'll ask for them. Of course, I hope that they're not going to. Ooh, I don't know what that noise was. I think it was coming from you, Dia. I'm not sure. They may ask for references. I hope that they won't ask for references until they're serious about offering you a job, because it's kind of a nuisance otherwise if they're not completely serious. What else do we have? Skills and experience. Oh yes, was it Rod? You mentioned this point about they want to know what you know about them, right? They want to know, well, what do you know about their company? Now, why do they care about that? Why do they want to know what you know about them. Why is that important for them?
Because they want to make sure if you are very interested about the company, about the directors or the staff that they are working, or the prestigious of the company.
Absolutely, absolutely, and this is very important, and it's most of the time this is an easy thing, a simple thing for us to get right, because we just need to do our homework on a company, and especially if we're offered an interview with a company, if we don't do any research into that company, we may find we have a job interview that we really don't want, that we don't even want that job, because it's easy when you put your application on a job search website. Sorry, no need for blocking there, thank you. If you put your resume or CV on a job search website, you may get a lot of offers for job interviews. And the truth is, you're not going to want to speak to all those companies. So first of all, it's a way for you to, as they say in the United States, to do your due diligence and make sure, is this really a company that I'm interested in working for? And of course, if you really have gone out to search for a job with a specific company, you've got to do your research on them. You've got to do your homework. And when they ask you questions, and maybe they'll ask, what do you know? What do you know about us? And I'll put that one in the box because it's a good question. What do you know about us? What do you know about our company? That's quite a laid-back question, and it's quite an easy one to answer. They might be a little bit more forceful or aggressive and say, what do you like about us? And if they really want to push their luck, they'll ask, what don't you like about us? Or what do you think, from what you know, what do you think we should do differently? And you have to be very careful with that question, and you have to know who you're speaking to when you answer that question, because of course if you criticize maybe the way they do sales and the sales directors in the room, that was probably not the smartest thing to talk about there. So we need to be careful and know what is it about the company that says we want to work for them. Is it the opportunity? Maybe it's the salary. Is it the robustness of the company? Do we want to work for a company that is really well established and isn't about to go, has a good financial background? Do we like the way they develop their staff? Do we like the facilities they offer for and opportunities for further development? Most of the time, if we go into an interview talking about the challenges we want and the new responsibilities and experiences, these are good things because that's the kind of person they want. Yeah, but it's very important that we know about the company. Absolutely. Sorry, go on. Yes.
Visibility?
I'm sorry, say again?
Visibility.
Visibility? Can you tell me more about that?
Appearance.
Mm-hmm. What, your appearance or theirs?
Your appearance.
Okay, so what do you need to consider about your appearance?
Clothes. Makeup.
Mm-hmm. And it depends on the company you're interviewing with as well, because of course there are some companies that will allow you much more discretion in terms of the clothes you wear, the makeup, and all those things. And there are other companies that are far more conservative, and they, part of their corporate culture, the culture of their company and what they expect from their workers will be a much more, shirt and tie, certainly for the guys anyway. An appearance, and again, that's something you can find out by doing your research. How do you find out about a company? How do you do your homework on a specific organization?
You search on the website of the company.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, you can do that, and of course that makes it a much easier experience than it was 20 years ago. Or even 15 years ago, to be honest. So, but that's a good thing, and you're right. That's the first place. That's the first place I would go to if I wanted to know about a specific company. What else can we do?
From annual reports and from magazines and the newspapers and something like that.
Exactly right, Assam. We have a lot of sources, a lot of potential ways to get that kind of material. I would also suggest, my goodness, if you're in the business if you're that software developer and you're in the software engineering or the application development business, of course, if you have a friend or anyone who knows about that organization, give them a call and find out from them, you know, what is the opinion in the industry about that organization. Because, you know, you read a newspaper article, well, who provided that information? I expect it was the company. So you can get a lot of good, you can find out what the company wants you to know about them from their website. They're not going to put secret, and they're not going to put negative information on that
We can
website.
find out some interview examples for that company on the internet.
Interview examples?
Yes, for that company, for the same company that you want to hire in it. You check on the internet the previous examples of interviews with the other people and how it look like and how it's going on. Yeah.
Well, I think it depends on the company. I don't mind if I was employing someone. When I was doing interviews, I wouldn't let someone record it and put it online, because that's my own business information. I would be putting out there. I'm sure there are I know there, if you work in some consultancy companies, they will give you a very clear idea of what they're looking for in terms of a job interview, and some of the examinations they set. Some of these jobs, you know, there's so much competition that they can set that bar very high.
But really, some interviews slip through the cracks, you know.
Right. Well, I haven't seen those online. I think I maybe I don't search as well as you do. But that's an interesting idea to do that. I think, to be honest, we don't want to worry too much about other people's experience in job interviews, because it's us and the company. Okay, if they're interviewing 50 people, fine. If they're interviewing 2 people, that's fine. It's up to you to help them understand that you're the right person for this job, and it's also up to you to decide if you want the job as well. Because if you didn't have the skills and experience, you wouldn't be in the room. You wouldn't be on the Skype conversation with them. If you have an interview, that's a message for you that you have an opportunity here to get that job. Yes, and that's up to you. That's up to the language you use, and of course, absolutely, it's up to your dress and appearance and body language, personality, eye contact, smiling.
Yes, and really, they must believe that you are an enthusiastic person and really exciting to get that job. Yeah, that's
absolutely.
True.
Oh, that's a huge point. Yeah, and I want to put that on there. Show your enthusiasm, absolutely. Because let's be honest, if you're not excited about this job at the interview, you're not going to be excited about it when you're doing the job. This is a big job interview. Can be an intense, and of course we can be very anxious during an interview or very nervous. The better we prepare, the calmer we're going to be. But it's exciting. I don't know many job interviews when I've been bored on either side of the desk. And I really appreciate that point, because we have to show our enthusiasm and our passion, the passion for the work we're doing. Because if we don't demonstrate that, they don't know. They don't know.
I think I always use the word when I interview with any companies. I told them that you are the winning team, and I want to be a part of that winning team. I think that is an effective sentence. I always use it.
It is. It's a good line, Dia. And I suggest, if you're saying something like that, and you're right, it's a good thing to say. We will have to be specific and give an example as to why. And for example, maybe they're a winning team because their finances are so solid, or because they have won an award for their product or their program.
Sure.
Yeah, or the customer reviews. Yeah, go on.
From a couple of days before, I was on an interview with an Emirates airline, working as a cabin crew, you know. And the man asked me why you wanted to be a cabin crew with Emirates. I told her that you are the winning team, and I want to be a part of that winning team. So she asked me why we are the winning team.
Yeah.
I said to her because it's, actually, as you say, I said to her that because you are consistent ranked as one of the best airline in the world, and it's going well. It's going well, and really I'm still waiting for their messages.
Yeah, and
yes.
Yeah.
So I like your example, and I think it's so important. Either we give them an example, and we're specific, or we don't. If we don't, if it's a good interviewer, they're going to ask you for one because you've just said a nice thing, and they want to say, well, why? Why do you think that? So let's not waste their time, and let's not, they don't need to ask follow-up questions because we're going to give them that specific example and prove what we're saying. It's like, here's my opinion. And here's my evidence as well. And that could be evidence about why you want to work for them.
Must but give also, them evidence and the clues, really.
Absolutely right, yeah. Yes. So let me just add that, so specific, oops. Absolutely, we have to do those things. Otherwise, there's nothing for them to write down. Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead.
They might ask you, how can you help us? So, they need to know what you can add values to their company, or what's the values that you can add it for the company. So maybe they ask you, how can you help us, or what you can add for us.
That's a fantastic question for them to ask, and of course, really, that's almost the most important thing they could be wondering about, because when they're looking to hire someone, they're not looking to give you a job because you need a job. They're not looking to give you a job because you need the money or because you need the experience. They really don't care about that at all, and that's okay, right? Because they're in business to make money. They're in business to stay in business. Once you're a member of that family, that organization, then of course, yes, then they care about your development because they want you to be the best that you can be if they're an efficiently run profit-making business. But yes, at that interview, they don't care what you want, but they care about your ability to fix their problem, or perhaps, as you say, to add value, to help them make more money. So I'm just cutting off the microphone there when you're not talking, Hassan. So yeah, I think this idea of a question like that, how can you add value? How can you help us in this business? It makes sense for them to ask this question. It makes a lot of sense for you to prepare a good answer for that question. If they ask something like that, how can you add value to what we're doing? If you don't have an answer, you're not getting that job because it's kind of a fail there if we can't speak to it. It's hard just to speak off the top of your head. So I think when you're going for a job, I would of course urge you to prepare a good answer, and that means thinking about your skills and experience. Of course it does, and also means thinking about, well, where is this company in the market, and why do I want that job? Because mostly it's about because you're good at these things, because you're passionate about it, and because you can do a good job that will help them.
Yes, and the positive things in your character.
Tell me again, please.
And the positive things in your character.
For example.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So, what kind of things would you talk about in terms of positive characteristics?
Yeah, friendly, a quick learner, good listener, great in solving problems, loving challenges, reliable, dependable. And that's really work well under pressure.
It sounds like the perfect person. My goodness, I want that. I want to be that person right now.
Yes.
If you had to choose one, if they said, what is the best part of your character, which of those would you choose to talk about?
Friendly and a quick learner. That's okay. All. But the others is from my friends talking. You must say that, you must say that.
Well, these are all very positive. Of course, we can only talk about them in an interview if we have an example to give. So let's go with quick learner. Yeah, if you say, oh, okay, well, I'm a quick learner. If I'm the interviewer, I'm going to say, well, for example, what have you learned quickly? So what example would you give me?
Actually, I graduated from Faculty of Computers and Information Technology, measured as IT. I will told you that I learned CCNA in that is the Cisco Academy Networking for networking. Yeah, I learned it in a few, yeah, I think in a short time, you know, in a little bit time.
Okay, yeah. And I think that's a good example. I think that's a good thing to talk about, and it's a good thing to practice and to prepare for an interview, because absolutely, especially if a candidate for a job is younger, for example, and perhaps they finished and they've graduated, they have good qualifications, but perhaps you don't have a lot of work experience. Well, if you have an interview with that company, then clearly you could still get that job. They're not saying, oh, you're too young, you don't have enough experience. So no, they're not saying that, because you have the interview. But it's up to you to explain to them why this lack of work experience isn't a problem, isn't a deal breaker for them.
Actually, I have nothing about work experience. Really.
Right. No, exactly.
I just graduated and I'm an employee now and looking for open vacancies. That's all.
No, I understand, Deanne. And what I'm saying is, if you're in that situation where you're a recent graduate with little work experience, but you have the job interview, that tells me that, well, that they must think there's still a chance for you to get this job. And so it's up to you to explain to them why this lack of work experience isn't a problem. And a great example is what you just talked about. You could say, well, I don't have much work experience, I'm a recent graduate, but I'm very quick. If you give me this job, I'll pick up on those skills very quickly. Oh, and for example, when I was studying, I was very quick to learn and pick up new ways of doing things and methods or programs. Hey, you can choose any example you want that shows them, demonstrates to them that you're a fast learner, because hey, they want a fast learner.
You really hit the point, yes.
Yeah,
really hit the point. Yes.
Absolutely. And I understand, because people are people at all different stages of their career. I'm kind of halfway through. Other people are even older than me, and they have a lot of experience, but maybe their qualifications aren't as recent. So they have other pressures as well. And whatever age you are, there are going to be questions, difficult questions to answer in a job interview. But the more we prepare, the more we understand what an organization or company wants to know from us, or what they're worried about, the more we understand that and prepare good things to say. And I don't mean prepare scripted answers. I mean prepare the kinds of examples we would give, the kind of skills we would talk about. The better we prepare, like an exam, the better we prepare, the better we're going to do. Sorry, go on.
And really imagine the debate, how it will be gone. The debate of the interview, how it will be gone, you know.
Can you say again, please, dear?
And imagine the script of the interview with yourself, how it will go on, yeah.
Oh, sure. Well, you can practice it. You can practice, and of course you could practice. I work with a lot of students practicing interviews and making those as realistic as possible. But you can do that with a friend. You can do that by yourself, and just to run through a list of questions. You can absolutely.
I always use my mirror, really.
Yeah, and I would recommend it. Yeah.
Maybe I can ask you, what's your the weakness and the strength?
Those are good questions. Well, let me ask you, Assam. What is? Tell me about your strengths first of all.
Well, my strength is I'm a very motivated person, and I'm a very quick learner, and those are the most my strengths.
Okay, so and motivation, that's to be motivated. That's a great strength. Give me an example of your motivation.
Well, in my experience, as you see that I finished my bachelor degree in finance and banking, and I was very motivated to work in financial sector. So I did my best to get the job that I wanted. So I worked for Palestinian Security Exchange, the books, and I worked for that 1 year, and I was as well very motivated to continue my education. So I was planning to do master degree. So I did my master degree in Belgium, and yeah, this is my example for to be motivated. It's I'm always put a goal in front of me, and I'm always working very hard to do that.
Nice.
Achieve it.
That's a really nice way to end that little story, Assam, and I like that because and you can speak. We can speak generally. You know, we can say, oh, I'm a motivated person, and I always follow up, and I always try to set myself goals. We do that as a way to introduce our example. So it's like, I'm really good at this, and then, oh yeah, for example, I did this. So we can be general at the start, and then we're going to be specific. And then I really love the way you finished that example by saying, and yes, that's an example of how motivated I am because I set up a goal and I meet that. So I think that's it's a nice example of giving an example.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. I want to try another question because I promised I would do some questions about teamworking in this class. So let me get back to that, and let me see. This is a question we looked at in a previous class as well, and I want to type it out for you and to see, and I want you to tell me what you think of this one. Oh yes, here it is. I'm putting this in the chat box. I spelled that okay? There we go. All right. What kind of people do you find it difficult to work with? Now, this is a question I've been asked in a few interviews, and I've certainly asked it as well. Sometimes it's more important in some jobs than in other jobs. But take a look at the question, and that's for anybody. And please tell me what kind of thing? What would you talk about to answer that? I like fanfare requests in the chat. Sebastian, I'm going to ask you, what would you talk about if I asked you what kind of people do you find it difficult to work with?
Well, by my experience, for example, with foreign people, I'm used to work with Indian, Canadian people, well, United States, but mostly for the language, maybe. Different languages.
All right. Okay. Well, that's
so communication. Yeah. Basically communication.
But you might give a as you say, people who aren't speaking the same language as you. Maybe that could be a barrier that could make it difficult. Okay, that's an interesting example. Yes. I like that one. Yeah, Dia, do you want to give us an example?
Yeah, the overacting people.
Sorry, yeah, again?
Yeah, people who are always overreacting in these situations, yes.
That's people like me. I think we wouldn't want to work with me. I'm very, very overreactive. Okay, people, so people who overreact, so perhaps very, very emotional. Very emotional people, okay,
yeah, for sure.
Emotional people. Can you give me an example of when you found it difficult to work with someone who was emotional? When has this happened to you?
Yeah, for sure. If something happened or a mistake happened in the work, you know, getting mad at me and become so nervous, and you know, a lot of troubles happens, and we all lose our conscience, you know. or aware about the work, and finally we lose the work, yeah, at the end.
Okay, and that's closer to being specific, and of course in a real interview you'll want to say, well, yeah, 6 months ago I was working with someone, and they weren't able to be calm. They were very, maybe they were hysterical. They overreacted.
Yeah.
They're very, and of course,
especially stirring. Yeah, the point is stirring. Yeah, stirring at your face and became mad at you. And tell you, I'm so pissed from what you do. I'm sick of it. You can keep calm and tell me what the problem is here, and we try to solve it in a simple way. That's all.
So tell me more. I mean, what do you do in a situation like that? Because of course, you know what, in the interview, if they ask you what kind of people do you find it difficult to work with, and if you give them that example of very emotional people, they're going to say, so what do you do if there's someone in your team who's very emotional? What can you do to help fix that problem?
I told them that this situation will put me in a too pressure, will make me work under pressure, and if it have a two ways, you know. If working under pressure makes me work well and more efficient, or it will make me lose the work, you know. But actually, when I interview, I will tell them that it will make me work under pressure, and the work will be well and more efficient.
Yeah. Okay, so you can go with something like that, and I think the most important part, whenever we have someone that we find it difficult to work with, and it might be down to personality. It might just be that we're just, you know, they have a different style to us. Maybe they are louder. Maybe they're quieter. Maybe they like, you know, maybe they like to do things by email. Maybe they can only really have a conversation face to face or on the telephone. We all have different preferences about how we communicate with each other, and I think most problems, in my experience, and not because I'm perfect at this, not at all, but most problems I've seen at work between people can be made better if we could communicate. So, and managers know this, and directors know this, organizations know this, and one of the most irritating things for a future manager of yours or a future boss, one of the most annoying things for them to solve, one of the most time-consuming things for them to solve is a problem between you and another member of the team or another co-worker. So it's really up to you to persuade this organization that you're not going to be the problem, and if there is a problem, that there are some things, you have some skills you can use to make things better. And most of that is just about communicating and getting to know someone. We don't have to go on vacation with them. We just have to know them well enough so that maybe they're having a bad day, maybe they're tired, maybe they've got a sick baby, who knows, right? But just knowing enough and getting to know them so that we can understand things from their side. That doesn't mean doing everything their way. It's just about having an idea about them instead of thinking, okay, didn't respond to my email, or yes, they seem very excitable. There's nothing I can do, because if we go immediately to a manager with that, it's like going to a teacher in the playground and complaining about someone stealing our toy or something. We need to be the mature professional person who deserves to get this job, who deserves to be paid well. And we need to demonstrate to an employer that we can work with a range of people. And that doesn't mean we're going to fall in love with all these people. It just means that we're able to get on, we're able to communicate with, you know, senior managers and with members of your team, people who work for you or provide services to you, that we can adjust the way we speak to people depending on the way they listen best, right? So if there's someone who needs things, you know, instructions in a quite detailed way, I think we can help with that. Maybe we can type things out or arrange for you know, a note to be taken so they have a clear idea of where they're going. Other people, of course, prefer to just have a very general idea of how they're supposed to do something, and then they do it their own way. So it's about teamwork, but also about management and leadership, And the better we are at those things, you know, that's a big part of getting a job these days.
Yeah, that's true. Teamwork, yeah, is too necessary for most of works these days.
For most jobs,
For
absolutely.
most jobs, I'm sorry, most jobs.
Yeah. All right, now let me see. Our question, I've lost my question now. Let me find it again. Oh yeah, it's right up there. Yeah, what kind of people do you find it difficult to work? I think I need a couple more examples here. Let me put that question back in our chat box. Here's our question. What kind of people? You went with emotional, yeah. I want to see some. Here's some other examples. Let me see. Let me come to you, Adam. Adam, tell me. Well, hello, first of all. I didn't say hello to you before, did I? Adam, what kind of people do you find it difficult to work with? Are you there, Adam? Okay, that's my fault for not saying hello, first of all. Let me see. Well, let me go to Yasin. Yasin, tell me, what do you think of that question? What example would you give if someone asked you, Yasin? Oh, I don't think he's there as well. Maybe he can.
Hey guys, wake up and smell coffee, please.
Hello, teacher. I'm here.
Hello. Okay, great.
My microphone is mute.
I understand. I know it's an easy mistake to make. Don't worry about that. But I'm really interested in what you think of this question.
I think hard person is difficult to work with, and emotional person, and maybe lazy person. And, I don't have any idea, teacher. Sorry.
I think you do. I think you gave me all kinds of ideas just there, Yasin. And I like those ideas. And let's be honest. When someone asks us this question, there are all sorts of things we could say that would be a bad idea, right? Because we, you know, especially if we're speaking to someone for the first time, we don't want to be describing something either that's part of their character, or part of their working style, or part of a friend's working style. We don't want to offend anyone. However, if we talk about someone, and we can use the word lazy, or we can use something more neutral, just to say, well, you know, I don't like working with people who you know, who don't reply to my emails, or who don't do the work that they said they would do. And an expression we used, I remember in a previous class, it was, I don't like people who don't pull their weight, and that's a quality English idiom there, in terms of people who, you know, if it's their responsibility to produce a sales forecast or to look after customers, and that's their job, but they don't do those things, so they're not pulling their weight, they're not doing their share. And if we have a problem with those people, I don't know anyone who would say, oh, well, I love working with people who don't do what they say they're going to do. I love working with lazy people. I don't know anyone who would say that. So you're on pretty safe ground if you choose to talk about something that is quite universal, that other people would agree with. So I'd recommend staying in that kind of area. And you know, the emotional thing, you could probably use that as well. But the lazy people, the people who don't pull their weight, people who don't follow through, people who don't do their irresponsible workers, right? People who just aren't doing their job. Well, you could talk about that. And of course, if they give you an example, let's give them an example. Let's talk about a time where we joined a new team and there was someone who just wasn't answering questions, or who didn't do what they said they were going to do. And let's talk about our action. Let's talk about what we did. And that action, it might be tiny. It might be, oh, well, I had a coffee with them. I talked privately with them, and I got to know them a little better, and I realized, okay, maybe there's something, you know, I could adjust my management style or my communications technique to get the best out of them. and you have a happy outcome because now the team's working better, we're working faster, we're producing a more quality product or service, whatever that is. Now the truth is, this is not a perfect world, and you could do the very best to get along with someone, and still, you know, still they don't do their job, right? Because it's not your job to fix them as people, and if they're still lazy, well then yes, you're going to need to ask for help, or you're going to need to report that to a more senior member of staff. But it's so important in interviews, and I think increasingly important for us to be able to explain and give examples to people in an interview of how we manage our work relationships, how we get along with people, because they don't want someone who doesn't fit in. They have a fundamental question here. You know, the interviewers, I don't care what job you're going for, they always want to know, will you fit in? Okay, it's a massive question for them. They want to know, can you do the job? Of course they do. They want to know, do you want the job? And we talked earlier about, yes, do your homework, do your research on why you want to work for this company, and explain it to them. And if you can make it personal, as in, oh, well, I've always wanted to work for you, or I use your products, or I was so excited when you won that award. If you can make a personal connection, other than just, well, I need the money, and you seem like a company that won't go out of business. If you can make it a more personal connection, that's even better as well. We don't need that right now, thank you. No YouTube. So yeah, all right, let me ask another question. Let me see. Oh yeah, and we talked about this one before, but in a different class. Let me type this one out to you. Oops, if I can spell, there we go. There we go. Take a look at that question, please, in the Verbling chat. I want to give you a few seconds to take a look at that. How do you influence people to accept your ideas? Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this one. Let me say hello to Marcia. Marcia, hello. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Excellent. What do you think of a question like that? I mean, what could you talk about? I think it's an interesting question. I think we need to prepare something.
Yeah, I'm not very prepared, but I think the answer must be in communication terms. You need to explain very well the pros.
Very good.
Of your ideas. So you must be good in explain that.
I think that's a really good point, and I would go a little bit further than that, and I would talk about yes, you need of course, you're absolutely right, Marcia. You need to be able to explain. You also need if you're talking about, it could be something really small. Yeah, it could be we should all take our coffee break at the same time, or we should take our coffee break at different times, so there's always someone to answer the phone. It could be a little thing about how we do our work during the day, or it could be a much bigger thing, as in I think we should make a different product. I think we should start producing a whole new service, right? So whether it's a little idea or a big idea, of course we need to be able to explain the advantages very clearly to people, because change, any kind of change, it's uncomfortable. It's a little bit scary, right? So we need to persuade people if we want to implement a change, if we want to change anything in a company. And sometimes the most trivial things are the hardest ones, in terms of, oh, well, we want people to park in a different area of the car park, things like that. That can be met with a lot of resistance. So yeah, okay, we're going to list the pros, but we also want to know our audience, okay? Who is the audience? If we want to make a change in a company, who's the audience for that?
you're another part of the team.
Absolutely, right. And so how do we know the audience? What do we need to do?
To talk with them.
Well, we need to talk with them, and of course we need to do the we need to listen as well. And maybe that's even before we present the idea. We're going to take special care to listen to other members. If this is just a change for our team, if we listen carefully to them, especially if we listen carefully to the problems they have or the reasons why they might not want to make that change, then we can respond much more effectively. Because of course, you know, we could just say no, let's just make the change. I don't care what you think, let's do it. That's not going to work very well in the majority of cases. But if we're listening well to them, and if we can anticipate the negative problems or the things they might not, the reasons they might not want to do this, then we can help persuade them.
Statistics to improve your pros.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and I would call these. I used to do a lot of work for the government in the UK, and we would talk about lines to take. Okay, and lines to take would be, well, what if they have a problem? If we're talking about changing the times of the coffee breaks, it would be, well, what if they say, well, I've always taken my coffee break at 9 o'clock, or my best friend, I don't want to have a different time to take my coffee break, or I can't work very well if I don't have my coffee. Or how about I don't even take coffee breaks. Well, this doesn't help me at all, but now I have no one sitting at my desk to answer these calls. They could come up with 20 reasons why this is a bad idea. But if you know your audience, if you know your team well, and I mean you know them well by either asking good questions and using your listening skills and actually listening with an open mind to what they have to say, then you can prepare your lines to take. So your lines to take are responses to any concern or problem they might have. And so if you have good answers, and if they show that you really heard what they were saying, because it's very hard if you have an idea and someone says, oh, I don't like it, that'll never work, it's easy to go, oh, okay, well, we're just going to do it. It's easy to react in a negative way, but that's not going to work very well. So in an interview, if they talk about your ability, if they ask about examples where you have influenced other people, where you've led change, where you've been able to persuade people of a different way to do things, we need to show that yes, we're good speakers, that we're able to research and, as you say, list the advantages, list the pros behind a change, but also that we're good listeners as well, and that we're able to either understand where they're coming from, to understand their problems, and that we're also able to respond in a calm and constructive way when people have problems like that, because we can try, but to just push something through is not going to be a long-term solution to people's problems, because of course if we treat them that way, most of the time they tend to leave and work for somewhere else. All right, I want to continue with this. I mean, I'm out of time, so I want to continue with these things, and I want to continue and do other job interview classes with you next week. Thank you so much, by the way, for your questions and discussion and your practiced answers today. Let me leave you again with a couple of links. Let me see. Here's the Facebook page, and I would encourage you to follow me on Facebook, because every weekend I'm going to add my Verbling schedule to my Facebook page, so you'll see, okay, here's when Hamish is doing those job interview classes, things like that. So if you follow me there, that's great. Please follow me on Verbling as well. And I also want the link I gave at the top of the hour, I want to give that as well. Again, this is ESL about.com's advice for people who are doing job interviews and using English as a second language when you have a job interview with someone with an English-speaking company, either in an English-speaking country or with a company that's based in your company. So in your country, rather. So thank you so much for your attention and participation today. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.